The Mexican Soccer Show.
Next live.
Welcome to another edition of the Mexican Soccer Show. I'm Wiso for FoodMexSource.com. Normally, you'll see us on a Monday night, but today, a special edition on the FIFA World Cup Rankings. As you know, Mexico moved up 14 spots to take the numbers 26th place in the world rankings, and now we are leaders of CONCACAF. With me today, a very special guest for the Mexican Soccer Show, Mr. Michel. How are you, sir? You are not only an expert of the rankings in my book, but also on a new school of thoughts of how FIFA ranking must matter. Michel Richaud, how are you?
I'm very good. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure and an honor to be in your show.
Oh, no, not a problem. The pleasure is first of all, I probably butchered your name. It's Michel, and then your last name is French. Say it again.
Oh, Richaud.
Richaud. Maybe we need some of that Gignac help from you. But tell me a little bit about you, Michel. Where are you from? I know you're in the United States right now, but tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I'm actually in Mexico right now.
Okay.
Just moved back from the U.S. I just finished an MBA with a concentration in sports management and data analytics in GW. So right now I'm trying to go into the industry. I actually just opened a Club America's store where they train. But I do all of these FIFA ranking posts just because I really like them.
No, it's good. You take a hobby and it becomes a passion, and then you can go from there. To the viewers, I've been following Misha for a very long time on Twitter, and anytime that I bring up any of the news, any of the rankings, I always look at his blog. He's got an excellent blog called El Pasional that we're going to be talking about, and the importance of why Mexico should follow closely to other countries, and the importance of getting into that, obviously the FIFA rankings and being in the top 10. So, Misha, first tell us a little bit about the importance of why we should be looking at it, and why the directivos, the suits, and the FMF are not doing so, and that will help us totally into getting to that quinto partido that everybody wants to see.
Okay, let's first tackle that first question. Why is it important? Well, FIFA rankings are used to seed the teams when it comes to the qualifiers for the different tournaments. That's the perfect example right now is what happened with Wales and Romania. Those guys came out of nowhere, and now they're top seeded for the 2018 Russia World Cup. And now those guys won't have to face the top nations in Europe. They won't have to face Spain, Germany, just because they paid attention to the FIFA rankings. They played every game knowing what they needed to do. And also very important, they knew that they shouldn't play some games. So it was a matter of a 4-year planning for them, and it will likely make them participants in the 2018 World Cup.
So what you're saying to me is that these guys are looking at the rankings and what to play, who to play, and they have maybe an expert in there saying maybe we shouldn't play against that country, maybe we shouldn't play that many games. Because let's back up. For some of you who don't know, the rankings give you the top 8 spots in the World Cup, right? And those give you the heads, correct? Anybody who is ranked top 8 coming into the World Cup, is it a month or a couple months before, gets automatically those spots? Is that correct to say?
It's a top 7.
Top 7? That's right.
One is for the host.
Okay.
It's given in the FIFA ranking of October of the year previous to the World Cup. So in this case, whatever top 7 teams are there in October 2017 will be those top seeded teams for when the draw comes for that World Cup.
And obviously, the last time Mexico was ranked in the top 7 was 2006 when we were ahead of the group. We didn't face anyone. I guess the group the team that we faced was Portugal, who got into it. Example for last year was Belgium, right? And Switzerland, who were nowhere, at least Switzerland was nowhere in the top even 20, I would say, but somehow managed to get in there. So the importance are huge in seeing that. And starting now, tell me why now is important, Misha, for Mexico to start planning that way.
Well, everything started a year ago. I've been going to every World Cup since 2006. And then I've gotten out of that stadium after that terrible loss in round of 16, right? So 3 World Cups in a row, and it's a matter of what does Mexico need to do in order to make it to that quinto partido, right? So I started researching and thinking about ways, and then I noticed a trend for those teams that were the top seeded teams in the for the draw, right? So Mexico needs to focus their attention to get to those top 7 places, because once you are there, your chances, your probability of going further and further in every round of the World Cup increases. So let's take the example of Brazil. In Brazil, there was, of course, Spain disappointed, but almost every other team that made it to that was ahead of their group finished in first place that group, and then every single team that finished first in that group in every group advanced to the quarterfinals. So they beat out all their opponents in the
Well,
round of
and it makes sense because obviously when you finish first in the group, you're going to take into a number 2 from another group, and therefore it's not going to be necessarily a bigger team. Costa Rica finished first, right? Yeah. And they were able to advance because they got Greece. They were able to advance.
Yes.
Right?
Mexico got Netherlands.
Mexico got Netherlands, which could have gotten Chile because Brazil in the goal differential, so those Geo goals that we got taken off against Cameroon are very, very important. And therefore, I'm not saying that Chile would have been an easier game, but Netherlands and Chile, looking at how it is, I mean, we could have done a little bit better, I think. But interesting that you say that. Now, what do you do? I've read from your blog that you've gotten close to González Iñárritu. You've gotten trying to talk to the FMF and saying, hey, you know what? I want to raise my hand and I want to be the Moneyball. If you've seen that movie, I want to get you guys to that by statistics and what we can do. Are you getting somewhere from that? I mean, is that something that you really, really are passionate about because you really believe that this can bump Mexico to another level?
Yeah, I do believe it, and it's pretty simple. I'll tackle your question right now, but let me just tackle this thing before. It's just simple. Once you're in the World Cup, if you're a top seeded team, you'll face teams that aren't as strong as they would be as other teams might be, right? So you won't face the Spain, the Germany, the Argentina, the Brazil, all of those. So you're just facing lower, right? And then once you win that your group, you're in first place. You're as you mentioned, you're going to be facing teams that aren't as strong as in that specific time. So it's simple. It's not as complicated how I start to think about it. But then it becomes a numbers game and trying to figure out how to get to the top of the ranking. So now to answer your question about how to get to the FMF and trying to get them on board with this project, it's difficult. Especially in Mexico. If you see the latest blog post that I posted in my blog, you'll see that Mexico has played the most amount of games out of all of the teams in the past 2 years. I think it's around 35, 36 games compared to, say, only 9 of Wales. And the reason for this is simple, because the Mexican Federation makes a lot of money from friendlies in the U.S.
Partidos moleros, como les dice Tuca, ¿verdad?
True. Yes. Those partidos moleros are, but those are just chiching for Mexico. And also, it's important to know that Mexico has a contract with Zoom, and that's an obligation for Mexico to play, I believe, 5 friendly games in the U.S. So now you have those 5 games every year in the U.S., and then you might want to play another few in Mexico, or maybe another more in the U.S., but outside of the Zoom contract. So it's just a lot of friendlies that aren't helping you in the FIFA ranking.
And is that and sorry to interrupt you, but they're not helping you because you're not winning them, or even if we won, it's still not going to give us the points that we need. So it's better to avoid them?
It is better to avoid them. But if you're going to play them because you have to, because you're attached to a contract like you are with Zoom, then you need to be smart about who you're going to play against, right? So
tell me the type of team we need, because it looks like we're always playing almost the exact same type of team. So you're saying we should play teams, what, that are ranked lower, higher? How does that work?
to play teams with a higher ranking, as high as you can, but at the same time, you need to play them in a certain moment in time when you believe you can win.
Okay.
So right now, next month or in 2 months, we're gonna play. No, next month we're gonna play Argentina.
Argentina and Trinidad and Tobago.
Argentina is gonna be number one.
Mm-hmm.
So if you win that friendly, then that's a lot of points. Those friendlies are good, but most of the friendlies that Mexico play are against the Bolivias, the Paraguays, the Ecuadors that are in the 40 ranking or below, and those aren't exactly helping.
So really, we should be looking at those weaker teams that are in the top 10. The Wales, those are the type of teams that we need to beat. That they're bigger points, but they're not. They're smaller minnows in the scheme of football around the world.
Correct, but Wales won't play against Mexico because they know that they shouldn't be playing friendlies. That's how they're in the top ranks right now. If you see the blog post, you'll see that Wales is in first place. In today's FIFA ranking, you'll see them, I believe, in number 9 or 8, something like that. But in reality, for that ranking for October of 2017, right now, August 6th, 2015, looking at that ranking, they're in first place.
Wow.
Of everyone else.
Wow. So right now, if the World Cup started, Wales will be number 1.
Wales will be number 1, and
it doesn't even matter if they can qualify through qualifyings.
Yeah, well,
right.
And you'll follow by, say, right now we just finished an important tournament in South America, so you'll see Argentina, Brazil, Colombia, and Chile also in the top 7. But that's because we just played a very important continental tournament that gives a lot of points in the FIFA ranking. Because it's very important to mention that a friendly doesn't give as many points as a World Cup game or even a qualifier game, or of course a Copa America, Copa Oro, or the Euro that's going to be next year in France. So it's interesting.
It's interesting in how it is. Now, if we lose a game, does that matter in the rankings? It's not like we're gaining points. Do we lose points from it?
So the rankings is an average of the points that you earn in each game. So if you lose, no matter which game, no matter against who,
gotcha,
that's 0 points. So you're averaging a 0. So that, of course, will end up lowering your total average.
Mm-hmm. So I see. So therefore, it doesn't matter if you lose against Guatemala or you lose against Argentina. You lost, and it carries through your rankings, and therefore playing more games is going to hurt you in the long run because you were going to lose against those. Whether maybe you played 4 games in 1 year and you lost against Argentina, won all 3 of them, you're going to get a more positive points because you didn't lose as many games compared to the points you're getting. Correct?
Correct. That's why. Yeah, you're totally right. That's why Wales only has 9 games in the past 2 years, and they've been really, really successful in their qualifiers for the Euro 2016. And the very few friendlies that they played, they've done all right. So all those games that they played, they're stacking up. Compared to Mexico, where even if you win against the Netherlands in Amsterdam, it was a big game, huge win. But instead of being making a huge impact in the ranking, just like not as big. Just
exactly.
Not as have all these other games that don't allow you to grow as much.
And this is great information because I think a lot of people don't know how the rankings. They think it's this huge logarithm that it's some kind of like numbers and here back and forth, but it's not as complicated when you look at the simplicity of it, of what you need to do to get in the rankings. And I see a lot of the media automatically when you lose, against a bad team, they're like, well, that's going to drop the rankings. The rankings are not important. What happened last month, when Mexico moved down so many points, it wasn't necessarily because we lost in Copa America. It was mostly the year that I think I talked about it in one Mexican soccer show where, the year is now different on the way that it's ranked, and other people having competitions and having qualifiers is going to count more towards us. Therefore, that's why all of CONCACAF kind of moved really low, especially Costa Rica, who didn't participate in Copa America, but they are also lost a significant amount more points than we did. But it wouldn't really matter. We would have, even if we didn't do Copa America, do you think we would have still jumped down correctly?
Yeah, I mean, we would have probably less.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be as much, but we would have.
But
definitely.
the loss against the U.S. wasn't a huge points hit system like people were making it out, or...
I mean, it was bad because you played a friendly when you shouldn't have played a friendly, and then you lost it. So it just blows your planification. If you're planning against or with the FIFA ranking, losing or even stacking those games, it's not worth it.
Yeah. So it's going to be hard. I mean, I see obviously the passion that you have, and I'm with you on this. Mexico has a problem that they play way too many games, especially with the sum contract. So what do we need to do, Michel? What do we need to do as Twitter and as fans of the Mexican team? We should tweet this video out to as many FMF suits that we can, just getting it out there. So I'm giving you guys, la tarea. Start tweeting this video out and say, hey, you know what? Pay attention to this. But other than that, do you really see us or see the FMF really honing down on playing less games?
It's going to be hard. I believe that there's a good chance that you can maybe play 3-4 less friendlies a year than you probably stack against like every year, because you won't be able to not play those 5 games in the US because it's a business.
The contract, yeah.
But at the same time, it's a contract, but then it's also a business, and you have to keep happy those people, right? You don't want to make mad the people that run the show. So the big bucks need to keep flowing in. It's just the smaller friendlies, like friendlies that aren't even filled in the US, like the stadiums aren't filled, or that it's not the huge amount of money that you're entering, like you're getting for those games. Don't play them. And when you go and play a friendly because you think it's important because the Copa America of Centenario is coming and you need to make sure that the team is strong for the tournament, well, maybe play 1 and not play 2. Make sure that you have good training. That's how these teams are increasing their FIFA rankings, by playing very, very few friendlies to prepare for the important games.
Well, there you go, guys. I mean, there's the key in order for us to get to a top 10. So, looking back at it in 2006, did Mexico didn't play as many games, or we were just kicking everybody's butt? Is that how we got in?
We had a fantastic Confederations Cup.
Okay.
It was also a different formula. It was similar, but it was a different formula.
They took more years, right? 8 years or other past World Cups, and now it's only 4 years.
It's only 4 years right now, and it's different. So right now, it's very important for us, or for Mexico, to have a super good Copa America Centenario.
If it happens.
If it happens.
Yeah.
If it happens. We hope that it happens, because that's an important continental tournament that gives a lot of points that Mexico wouldn't usually have. So that would be good for Mexico against European teams that won't have that second continental tournament in between things. Also, it's just pretty simple. Let's say Mexico fails to make the Confederations Cup. I'm knocking on wood, but let's think they lose against the US in 2 months. Then you don't have the Confederations Cup. Then it would be very difficult for them to make up those points, because a Confederations Cup gives you a lot of points in the last year.
That you need for that October.
Yeah, so something we failed to mention, or I forgot to mention. As the years go by, so it's 4 years for the FIFA ranking. So let's say the 2013 games are going to be worth less than the 2017 games. So everything that we play in 2017, that's going to be mostly the hexagonal final for the qualifiers, the World Cup qualifiers, and hopefully that Confederations Cup. Those games are worth a lot of points. If Mexico wins, say 6, 7 of them, it's going to be 10 games. If Mexico somehow wins the 5 in Azteca, and then maybe 1 or 2 outside of Azteca, and ties 1, let's say they have a really, really good qualifier, then you have a lot of chances of making that top 7.
There it is. Yeah, interesting. I've always loved in the rankings and taking advantage and thank you, Michel, for obviously I know your Twitter is always talking about it. There's other out there that have the rankings. I know Mr. Cheap obviously always comes out with his statistics way before, and we're looking at that. But thank you for keeping this a conversation, and hopefully it does reach out to somebody that can see this or somebody that can read your blog and can really take advantage of it, because it's any advantage, and I think through these days in any sport, they're looking for any statistical advantage, any that you see that, and I think it takes someone like you, and it takes someone like the guy from Moneyball to get a little bit extra, right? That you might not need.
There's an opportunity there, and you can win that edge. If there are teams that are not doing it, well, bad for them. But if you have a reason, you have to try to at least take advantage of it.
Oh, good. All right, guys. Well, I'm sure if you have not, if you're listening to us, all the statistical numbers maybe I've given you a headache. But there it is. Very simple. Mexico needs to play less games, and Mexico needs to win their games, and making sure to plan for that October right before the World Cup. Misha, thank you so much. Really quickly, your favorite team, the Liga MX? Atlante. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well,
you don't hear that very often.
Sorry?
You don't hear that very often in Atlante?
No, I know. Well, we have the best World Cup of clubs for a Mexican soccer team in the past.
There it is.
The past, I don't know, decade or so. So we have that pride.
I'm pretty sure you're going to keep that for a very long time, as I see America this way. But thank you so much, Micha. Where can we reach you? Where can we reach your blog and your Twitter first? What's your Twitter?
My Twitter is @Michrica. It's MICHRIKA. And then blog elpasional.com.
Perfect. Micha does El Pasional. He has given us a couple of articles here and there for foodmexsource.com. We're going to have an article in English translated from El Pasional on foodmexsource.com, so you can kind of see the writing of the importance of it exactly on this conversation. But Micha, one more time, thank you so much for joining the Mexican Soccer Show. Don't be a stranger. Anytime that we have any questions about rankings, we'll come to you if that's okay.
Yeah, please do. I'll be glad to appear another time.
All right. Well, guys, it's been a fun edition of the Mexican Soccer Show. Interesting and very important with the FIFA rankings. I'll see you guys next Monday. Making sure you guys are tuning in. Follow us on Facebook. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. And ask us any questions if you have on the FIFA rankings to Micha or myself. We'll see you guys later.